Hey, Paul. Promise you're not gonna laugh, okay? Try not to laugh, please. Oh, don't worry. Nothing could possibly just make me laugh, you know. Did you prime outside in the heat? Oh, that's great. And that's exactly how it's gonna go for you if you don't heed these 3 tips. Tip number 1. Never spray when it's either too humid and hot or too cold. Never. What you want to do is spray around temperatures like these. So 20 degrees, 18 degrees, 23, right around that range. What is that in Fahrenheit? Around 67 to 72? Right around the optimal temperature to spray. And especially look at this part right here, which is the humidity. Feels like, typically, to make it simple for a lot of people, right? Feels like 18 degrees right now in Saga. So pretty good, optimal temperatures. What you don't want to do is spray when the big number says 28 to 30, then this thing says feels like 35, 40. Conditions I sprayed Mr. Gilliman in about 2 weeks ago now when we had record-breaking summer temps. It was rough. And I'll show you what I mean. You see those gaps in the armor right there? Or there in the shoulder pad? Or what about this one, right there on the sword? Or the general look of the Mini, which was supposed to be sprayed on with Retributor Armor Metallic Gold Primer, right? It looks terrible, despite it being a single coat. Why is that? It's because I spray painted this in 35, 36 degree weather. That's it. This dried in midair. And instead of gently misting the Mini and having a good spread around it, it splotched. It was splotching because it was drying already while in midair. So, with that being said, how do you avoid this? Well, this will lead us to tip number 2, actually. Tip number 2 is checking out our YouTube videos and watching our tutorials. Sunward Hobbies, checking out our website, sunwardhobbies.ca. Well, in all seriousness though, yes, do that. But also, if you're in the store or in our socials, you DM us or something, yeah, just ask the staff. This is genuinely tip number 2. Ask the staff. We will recommend you solutions, paints, and kits that suits your needs, because there's nothing worse than a potential incredible painter or hobbyist blaming themselves for the circumstances that surrounds how, when, and where they paint, and then stopping the paint job and the hobby altogether. Pretty tragic. I've seen it all the time in my 5 years here in Sunward Hobbies. Oh my goodness, 5 years. Of course, if you flub up a paint job, then yes, that is on you. But freezing temperatures, extreme heat, and that's your only option, is to spray in the balcony of your condo, because inside there's, you don't want to trap fumes in a small condo or an apartment, and your only option is to spray in the balcony. That's not your fault, that's your circumstances. Maybe as a staff member, I can now recommend that you switch over to water-based, fumeless-based kind of primers that you can just brush on. That's extremely viable as an option, especially for people in confined spaces. But a lot of people wouldn't know this if they didn't ask the staff. In fact, we receive a lot of emails surrounding this exact topic in the peak summer and the peak winter. Daniela, bless her soul, receives so many emails and she answers so many of them patiently. It's like, oh, you sold us bad sprays. It's like, no. Let me ask you why, right? And then we ask them, and it turns out exactly the situation, right? They sprayed outside when it's too hot or too cold. And they're like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Again, just ask a staff. We will answer it for you. That is genuinely tip number 2. Tip number 3, paint remover. We're going to be demonstrating how to use paint remover, because we need to strip this and this abomination of a primer job. It looks terrible. You're going to need 4 things, technically 5. Grab yourself a paint remover. If you haven't, I recommend Tamiya's. They're typically bigger than their competition. Number 2, or technically number one, would be a spare old toothbrush, right? You all brush your teeth at home, right? Number three would be Q-tips. Now, it doesn't have to be the Hobby brand ones, but I do recommend the Hobby ones instead because they keep their form better than the ones you get from Dollarama, so you don't get cotton everywhere on Gilliman's face. Number four would be a tiny paint tray like this. It cannot be paper or plastic. They will melt. It has to be ceramic, glass, or metal. Number five would be a nondescript disposable cup, totally not from a restaurant that gives questionable cold coffee in the morning. And this will be filled with warm, soapy water. What you're going to want to do is unscrew this and just start dipping your Q-tip. You want to close the paint remover as much as possible though. You want to keep it open. There are some pretty bad fumes coming from the paint remover itself. And all you're going to have to do is just rub it onto the surface, right? Apply the paint remover. Next step is to just leave it. Leave it for a couple of minutes once you've finished applying to the desired spot. Just leave it. This next step is where you introduce your soapy water. I'll just grab the head here and I'll just start lightly scrubbing, very light. You don't want to scratch the mini, right? And the head is very small, but you can see I'm just doing it like that, right? And then scrub the part on the body where you applied the solution. I'm just scrubbing it and rinsing it, scrubbing it and rinsing it, rinse and repeat, literally. We're doing a very gentle application. This one, as you can see, it's already being removed, like the paint. I'm just gonna dunk it in water. You can just do the same thing with your mini as well. Just dunk it in there to make it easy. But I can already hear the comments be like, hey man, you can just dunk your mini as well, soak it, right? I would not recommend it. I've heard hilarious horror stories of people dunking and soaking their mini in paint remover and then their mini being no longer in this world afterwards. It just straight up melted into oblivion. Do not do that, please, please. And the only thing now is to keep doing it, rinse and repeat, quite literally. Feel free to remove and don't reuse any Q-tips. So flip to the other side like this is what I meant to say, because you don't want to reapply the paint. That will happen. Oh, and wear gloves if you feel like it. I do actually recommend it. I'm just being irresponsible. The paint remover is an irritant, especially to the skin. Please wear gloves. Oh, there we go. He looks good. No scratches on him because you just brushed him slowly, smoothly, not too hard, right? And perfect. On to the main body now. And it's already coming off there at the top. This is going to be the longest step because it is the biggest part, right, of the model kit, but it will be rewarding. Maybe 30 minutes or so is all it's going to take. Just keep it simple, right? Don't soak. Don't soak. Another tip is to use some sort of wide or wider brush to apply the paint remover on a wider area. Q-tip will still remain, as you can use that for more harder to reach parts with its firmness as well. But for this one, just broad strokes, just application, right? Soak the area for a couple of minutes and then rinse and repeat. Rinse it with the warm water and then with just the water. Another technique is to just put a little bit of the paint remover onto this tin of yours. Dip the exact same brush you use with the soap, just a little bit, just the bristles, and just scrub it off. See, I'm almost done. It's like at the tail end. This is best used when there's only scraps left, a little bit of residue left, and you're having a hard time with the Q-tips. The bristles will get into the nooks and crannies and to the panel lines and to the details. Be careful though, the bristles will fling the paint remover towards your eyes if you're not careful. And there we go. Gilliman looks basically good as new. And if you followed what I said correctly, there will be no damages, no melted parts, and you should be home free to start priming and painting. And of course, it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. Please, whenever you're using anything with strong fumes like paint removers, cement, do it in a well-ventilated room or area, or as well-ventilated as possible, at least with flowing air. Open your door, open your window, right? Last thing you want to do is sniff this thing. Please, please do not sniff it. This is where I'm going to be spray painting. Behind, in the shipping area with the door open. It's looking a little dreary outside, but it is 20 degrees. Quite cool. And this is the perfect opportunity to finally prime him. Vigorously shake your can for 15 seconds or 20 seconds at a time over the course of maybe approximately 2 minutes, minute and a half. And finally, just prime away. There he is. There he is. The chosen one. No longer a ghillie boy. He is now ghillie man. Terrible joke. Anyway, he looks night and day compared to what he used to look like. Now he looks regal and gold. Obviously, I'm still going to have to paint it, but his armor actually looks incredible now compared to before, where it looked like he was covered in poop. So don't be afraid to start over. Follow my steps. There's no shame in making mistakes. Mistakes is part of growth. And, you'd be surprised at what you've accomplished and learned and taken into consideration over the course of the years and the months and the weeks since your last paint job. Boom. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's it for me today. Again, my name is Paul. And if you enjoyed this video, follow for more on our socials, subscribe obviously on this YouTube channel, click the bell notification so you get notified. Sometimes it doesn't even appear in your sub box, so the bell is essential. And we're active on all our social media. Follow us there on all our socials and check out our real-time website where we have our entire inventory, and what you see there is what we carry in person as well. So do that. Thank you guys so much for watching,